Each year, almost 2 million animals move from the Serengeti into Kenya's Masai Mara. They follow the rains and the grass, but no one can fully predict when the march will begin. Some herds leave early and risk starving on dry land. Others wait too long and face swollen rivers they cannot cross. The journey is brutal. Crocodiles wait in the rivers, lions stalk the open plains, and hunger follows every step. On the same land, the Maasai people have lived for centuries, reading the signs of these movements and holding on to their traditions where predator and prey clash every day. Stay with me as we uncover the hidden wonders of the Masai Mara. Where the survival of species and continuing tradition might change the way you see this region forever. And no animal shows this struggle more clearly than the lion, the symbol of power on these plains. Famous as some of the big five of sub-Saharan Africa, the African lions are some of the most formidable predators around. Highly adaptable to the ecosystem in the National Reserve, they rely on cooperative strategies within groups to overcome large prey. They can even adjust their activity patterns based on heat or the presence of rival carnivores. Their social organisation itself is an adaptation, as few big cats live in groups this structured. Unlike solitary cats, lions live in prides, where protection of cubs, cooperative hunting, and territorial defence are shared responsibilities. Males secure the pride against rivals, while females enforce hunting discipline. Their presence deters intruders, and their coalitions, which are groups that are usually formed with brothers or related males, greatly increase their chances of gaining or maintaining territory and access to lionesses. They patrol boundaries with roaring and scent marking, broadcasting their dominance to competitors and neighbouring prides. Disputes over territory are frequent, and often lead to aggressive confrontations, which are typically ritualized to avoid serious injury, but can result in dramatic shifts in pride dynamics and leadership. They typically hold their status for only 2 to 4 years before being ousted by younger, stronger challengers. Once dominant males secure a pride, they mate with the females through an intense, multi-day process initiated by the females. The process is done through physical gestures like rubbing, meowing, and purring. This high frequency not only ensures successful fertilization, but also secures the male's paternity by excluding competitors during the female's short window of receptivity. After a 110-day gestation, the cubs are born. They remain hidden for weeks to avoid predators, usually in thickets or dense grass. Lionesses raise their young communally, nursing each other's cubs, though the survival rate remains low due to both predators and male takeovers. In fact, when new males take over a pride, they may exterminate existing cubs to bring females into estrus, ensuring the continuation of their own lineage. Lionesses tend to also be inattentive at times and may leave the cubs unattended for up to 24 hours. Cubs start following their mothers at about 3 months, are weaned by 6 to 7 months, and begin helping with hunts by around 11 months. Those that survive to age 2 have significantly better odds of reaching adulthood and sexual maturity, which happens around 3 to 4 years. Female cubs may stay with their birth pride or join others, while male cubs are typically expelled around age 3, living as nomads until strong enough to challenge for a pride themselves. Lions are cooperative hunters, ambushing prey in coordinated maneuvers. Females usually take the lead, using teamwork to corner or surprise herds. Success is often not guaranteed, as a hunt can fail multiple times before yielding food. Even after a successful takedown, danger persists with hyenas, vultures, and even other lions drawn to the carcass. They also do not migrate in the same way herbivores do, and instead adjust their ranges seasonally, following the movements of prey species. Their most frequent prey are large herbivores such as African buffalo, plains zebra, and wildebeest, which make up the largest part of their diet. They prefer these prey because of their size and energy value, but they are opportunistic hunters and may also target gazelles, impalas, eland, and occasionally smaller animals if the opportunity arises. While they can and do occasionally hunt livestock, this is rare in healthy ecosystems where wild prey is plentiful, helping to prevent human-wildlife conflict. Their diet plays a critical role in controlling populations of large herbivores, maintaining the ecosystem's balance. As some of the main prey that help sustain lion prides, the African buffalo form large, tightly knit herds that provide strength in numbers. When threatened, adults form a defensive circle, horns facing outward, with calves protected in the centre. Decision-making is cooperative, with herds using a form of voting to choose migration direction. Their keen sense of hearing and smell helps detect threats, compensating for poor daytime eyesight. Diet-wise, they are grazers, focusing on tough grasses, but also eating shrubs, leaves, and roots in dry seasons. Their ability to chew cud and their daily need for water mean herds stay near rivers and streams, spending hours feeding and wallowing in mud to avoid biting insects and regulate temperature. Forming a symbiotic relationship with these large mammals are the Oxpeckers, who share habitat and daily routines. Known to act as tick birds, they ride the backs of buffaloes, feeding on ticks and parasites in a bond that blends both cooperation and subtle exploitation. Their beaks are well suited for scissoring through fur and prying out ticks or insects, letting them forage on hosts even as they walk. This adaptation also protects the birds from ground predators, since they rarely land except to nest or roost. The birds also clean fur, sometimes peck at open wounds, and can warn buffalo of approaching predators with alarm calls. In the same Bovidae family as the African buffalo, which also receives help from the oxpecker, is the wildebeest. Like other large herbivores, they are built for endurance, with sturdy legs, a muscular frame, and a distinctive tufted tail that helps signal herd movement. Although they are also herd animals, their social order is loose, with no fixed leadership, but a shared movement based on collective instincts, responding to rainfall and grass availability. Their ability to survive harsh dry seasons depends on efficient digestion, adapted for tough grasses, supplemented by a keen sense of smell to find water and new grazing spots. These mammals undertake one of the most iconic annual migrations from Tanzania's Serengeti into Kenya's Masai Mara between July and October. This journey covers vast distances following seasonal rains, with perilous river crossings such as the Mara River. Predation pressure is intense during migration, with lions, crocodiles, hyenas and cheetahs targeting weak or isolated individuals. Drought and food scarcity can weaken herds, increasing vulnerability. Human encroachment and habitat disruption pose rising threats to migration routes and survival. The migration continues a nearly year-round cycle, moving clockwise through the Serengeti and Masai Mara plains based on climate and food supply. Interestingly, the journey often occurs alongside other large mammals such as zebras and elephants. These animals share overlapping migration routes and seasons, responding to the same environmental signals like rainfall and new grass growth. Zebras often lead or move ahead of wildebeest herds during migration because their digestive systems allow them to consume the taller, coarser grasses first. However, this actually opens up fresh, more nutritious grass closer to the ground for wildebeest to follow, which creates a push-pull dynamic between the two species. Meanwhile, the elephant's movements are generally slower and more methodical, with a focus on water access and browsing resources. While they don't participate in the large-scale, rapid migration, their presence influences the ecosystem by shaping vegetation and water availability, indirectly affecting the grazing patterns of wildebeest and other herbivores. The Masai Mara River marks a key point in the migration journeys of wildebeest, zebras, and elephants, serving as both a vital water source and a natural obstacle. While wildebeest and zebras cross the river in massive, coordinated groups during the annual migration, elephants tend to follow broader paths, often moving more deliberately and independently, but sometimes sharing watering spots along the riverbanks. The river is famous and feared for its crocodile population, especially during the migration when thousands of wildebeest face perilous crossings, earning it the nickname the River of Death. The weather along the river is marked by 2 rainy seasons, a short one around November to December and a longer one from March to May, though rainfall can be unpredictable. Recent climate issues are increasingly affecting the region, altering rainfall patterns and river flow, which impacts the migration and water access for wildlife and communities. As wildebeest, zebras, and other animals cross the river during migration, crocodiles lie in wait beneath the surface, turning the crossing into a high-risk passage. They are patient ambush predators, often remaining nearly submerged, hiding just their eyes and nostrils to watch for prey. They strike with sudden violence, grabbing prey with their jaws and performing a death roll to disorient and tear flesh, while dragging the victim underwater to drown it. During migration, the river crossing becomes a feeding frenzy as crocodiles seize weak, young or isolated animals. They sometimes cooperate in groups to herd fish or share large carcasses, following a strict social hierarchy where dominant males feed first. These crocodiles are among Africa's largest and most aggressive crocodile species, growing up to 16 feet long and weighing over a ton. Their tough, armoured skin protects them from injury, while their sharp, conical teeth are designed to grip firmly. Powerful tails propel them stealthily through the water with bursts of speed up to 18 miles per hour. Additionally, they stand out for their evolutionary longevity, surviving relatively unchanged for over 200 million years. Nile crocodiles lay eggs guarded by the female, with both parents sometimes protecting the nest and hatchlings for a short period. Hatchlings quickly learn to fend for themselves, and they have long lifespans, with some individuals living over 70 years. When they are not hunting, the Nile crocodiles prefer to spend long hours lounging on the riverbanks, where they warm themselves under the sun and conserve energy for their next hunt. This basking behaviour helps regulate their body temperature, since as cold-blooded reptiles, they rely on external warmth to stay active. They sit almost entirely out of the water, mouth agape to release heat in extreme temperatures, which is a behaviour essential for thermoregulation. Though they appear still and slow, crocodiles remain alert, constantly aware of their surroundings and the presence of other animals, ready to launch surprise attacks. Sometimes found sharing these resting spots with the crocodiles are the hippopotamuses, which coexist closely along the Masai Mara river as well. Despite occasional territorial disputes and confrontations, hippos and crocodiles tolerate each other in these spaces, both benefiting from the river's resources. Although they are categorised as land mammals, hippos are well adapted for aquatic life, with eyes, ears and nostrils positioned high on their heads to stay above water while most of their body remains submerged. In fact, they even mate and give birth in the water, with calves able to swim almost immediately upon birth. Mothers fiercely protect their young in the water and on land, ensuring survival in a habitat where many predators, including crocodiles, lurk. Frequently and fearlessly foraging in the same shallow waters where these hippos wade is the yellow-billed stork, recognised for its long, slightly curved yellow bill, designed for quick snapping to catch small fish, crustaceans, and aquatic insects. A notable adaptation is their foot-stirring technique, where they use one foot to disturb the water or mud to flush out hidden prey before rapidly snapping their bills to catch it. They tend to be gregarious, often found in small groups, though sometimes solitary during foraging. Their feeding relies mostly on touch rather than sight, stalking slowly through waters with their bills slightly open to detect prey. These storks also have elaborate courtship behaviours, including display preening and twig grasping performed at nest sites to attract mates. They can be facultative nomads, migrating short distances when conditions demand, but often staying within the same range year-round. Another stork species sharing these watery habitats is the African openbill, also foraging in shallow water and often benefiting from the movements of larger animals such as hippos. They have a unique open-tipped bill, adapted specifically for feeding on aquatic snails, their primary food source. This specialised beak allows them to extract snail meat without breaking the shell, a feeding technique unmatched by other stork species. They sometimes stand on the backs of hippos, taking advantage of snails disturbed by the large mammals. Social behaviour includes calls such as croaks and honks, and territorial disputes may involve bill clattering and threat displays. Their lightweight, agile build facilitates acrobatic flight, necessary to cover large distances and access scattered wetlands. Living in the same area, but focusing more on the drylands, is the superb starling, often near animal herds where they find insects and other morsels stirred up by larger mammals. They distinctively possess bright, reflective feathers that may play a role in social signalling and protection from sunlight. These smaller birds have a vocal repertoire of whistles, warbles, and mimicry, which helps maintain social bonds and ward off predators. The lands inhabited by superb starlings are often edged by the defining silhouettes of acacia trees, dotting the plains with umbrella-like canopies. These trees provide food and shelter to a wide array of wildlife, as their leaves and pods serve as important forage for herbivores during dry seasons when other vegetation is scarce. The thorns also protect many small animals and birds, including nests built safely within the branches, away from ground predators. The wood from older or dead acacias is used by the Maasai people for building shelters, fences and tools due to its strength and durability. The bark and gum have medicinal and practical uses, such as treating wounds or making adhesives. The acacia trees that serve as a crucial resource for the savanna also support towering residents of the Masai Mara, the giraffes. These graceful giants rely heavily on the acacia for food and shelter, browsing at heights unreachable by many other herbivores. As browsers, they consume up to 75 pounds of leaves, twigs and bark daily, mainly from acacias. They rarely need to drink water directly, obtaining moisture from food instead. As the tallest living terrestrial animals, the Maasai giraffe is distinguished by jagged, irregular spots, can reach heights of 18 to 20 feet. They have an elongated neck and a prehensile tongue up to 18 inches long, specially adapted to grasp and strip leaves from thorny acacia branches without injury. Their long legs and cardiovascular systems support blood flow when bending down to drink, a vulnerable posture. They are mostly silent but communicate through low-frequency infrasound, and various vocalizations. The giraffes also tend to share the open plains with the zebras, often grazing in proximity and forming integral parts of the savanna ecosystem. While giraffes browse high on acacia leaves, zebras graze on the shorter coarse grasses below, often eating in areas cleared or grazed by other herbivores. Their grazing shapes the landscape, making way for other species by trimming dominant grasses and rooting soil, benefiting the wider ecosystem. Iconic for their unique stripe patterns, these stripes actually serve as camouflage by breaking up their outlines and confusing predators in groups. They form family groups called harems, consisting of a dominant stallion, several mares, and their young. These harems join to form larger herds, especially during migrations, offering safety in numbers from predators like lions and hyenas. Zebras grazing across the Masai Mara plains share their habitat with the Defasa waterbuck, another grazer deeply connected to the savanna's water sources. Their coats help repel water, an adaptation to their preference for habitats near permanent water bodies. Unlike many others in its family, waterbucks cannot tolerate dehydration, requiring regular access to water. Males develop strong, curved horns, used for defense and dominance displays. Territorial marking is simple, mainly through dung and urine, with males defending their boundaries aggressively. Young males leave their natal herds when their horns develop and form bachelor groups or challenge for territories. A well-known and commonly seen relative of the waterbuck is the roan antelope, which is one of the largest antelope species, with robust builds and long curved horns that sweep backwards. They have coarse, reddish-brown coats with lighter underbellies and distinctive facial markings that help individuals recognise one another. Their powerful legs enable swift running and extraordinary endurance to evade predators. These antelopes tend to prefer environments with tall grasses and scattered trees for cover, avoiding dense woodlands or closed canopy forests. Calves also hide in tall grass during their earliest weeks to avoid predators, gradually integrating with the herd as they gain strength. They face threats chiefly from large carnivores like lions and hyenas, with calves especially vulnerable when outside of protective herds. Human activities, including habitat conversion and hunting, are ongoing concerns for roan populations. Another member of the antelope family is the topee, a highly social animal, usually found in herds ranging from a few individuals to several hundred during migrations. Their long ringed horns curve slightly inward and backward, present in both sexes. They exhibit territorial behaviour, especially males, who establish and defend territories during the breeding season using displays and fights. Their herding behaviour helps reduce individual predator risk. During the rutting season, dominant males gather harems of females and defend them aggressively. Females have a gestation of about 7 to 8 months before giving birth to usually a single calf. Calves remain hidden for the first few weeks to avoid predators. Topee sparring is a key aspect of their social and reproductive behaviour, centred around the competition between males for territory and access to females. During the breeding season, dominant males establish territories that they defend vigorously against rivals to maintain control over harems of females. Sparring matches typically involve males facing off and using their powerful ringed horns to push and wrestle each other. These contests emphasise strength and endurance rather than causing serious injury, with many encounters involving ritualised displays such as head bobbing, stomping, and mock charges before physical contact. If a match escalates, clashes can become intense, involving locked horns and shoving, but males usually retreat before serious damage occurs to avoid risking debilitating injury that would affect their survival and future breeding chances. Inhabiting wetlands and marshy grasslands, often near the topes, are the grey-crowned cranes, which benefit from the insects and small prey stirred up by these herbivores. The appearance of the national bird of Uganda is marked by a golden crown of stiff feathers and a slender neck, with long legs adapted for wading in shallow wetlands or walking through grasslands. One remarkable trait is their long hind toes, allowing them to roost safely in trees, which is rare among cranes. Their sharp honking calls and booming sounds help maintain territorial and social bonds across distances. In fact, these cranes are highly social, often seen in pairs or family groups, and occasionally form flocks of up to 150 during non-breeding periods. Their courtship involves elaborate dances with head bobbing, bowing and jumping that strengthen pair bonds and establish mating rights. Another national bird seen in the park's treetops and savannas is the lilac-breasted roller, the national bird of Kenya. They are known for their ability to perch high on trees or poles from which they can survey the ground and swoop down to capture insects and small reptiles. These rollers exhibit monogamous pair bonds and defend territories vigorously, often seen perched singly or in pairs, making loud, harsh calls to mark their area. Both parents share nesting duties, raising 2 to 4 chicks in tree cavities or abandoned nests. Unfortunately, habitat loss and human disturbance threaten their nesting sites, while predators target eggs and chicks. Their bright colours, while attractive to humans, may also make them more visible to predators. Also found roaming the same savannas is the Thompson's gazelle, named after explorer Joseph Thompson. Like many smaller prey species, they are built for speed and agility, with slender bodies, long legs, and sharp eyesight. Their lightweight frames allow bursts of speed up to 50 miles per hour, essential for evading predators. These mammals also participate in seasonal migrations, often alongside wildebeest and zebras. Their migration routes follow grass availability and water sources, sometimes covering extensive distances. Smaller than wildebeest, they can access thinner cover but depend heavily on herd safety. The Thompson's close relative in the gazelle family also roams the open grassland and savannas of East Africa, known as the Grant's gazelle instead. They would often form mixed herds, though the Grant's gazelles are noticeably larger than Thompson's, with a more robust build and longer legs. Their morphology supports endurance running and swift changes of direction, essential for evading numerous Masai Mara carnivores. Like Thompson's, dominant males defend territories and harems, using displays and horn clashes to maintain control. They are mixed feeders, favouring grasses, but also browsing shrubs and herbs when grass is scarce, which allows them to adapt to changing resource availability. One of the primary predators that targets calves and weaker individuals among the gazelle herds is the cheetah, demonstrating a tightly bound predator-prey relationship. It possesses a lithe, aerodynamic body and long legs built for explosive bursts of speed, reaching up to 70 miles per hour in short sprints. Its large nasal passages allow enhanced oxygen intake during the high exertion chase, while its flexible spine and semi-retractable claws provide unparalleled grip and stride efficiency. These solitary or coalition hunters rely on stalking to get as close as possible to prey before initiating a rapid chase. They hunt mainly during daylight hours, to avoid competition with nocturnal predators. Interestingly, their distinctive black tear marks beneath the eyes also reduce glare, aiding precision during daylight hunts. When in coalitions, such as the remarkable Tano Bora group in the Masai Mara, they coordinate their strategies. These involve dividing roles like flushing prey or blocking escape routes, increasing their success rate markedly. These big cats also maintain territories rather than undertaking traditional migrations. They shift ranges depending on prey availability and competition pressure, often preferring open plains and areas with tall grass for concealment during stalking. Despite being predators, they also face threats not just from prey escape, but from larger predators that may steal kills or kill cheetah cubs. Human activities, habitat loss, and conflicts pose significant dangers to populations. Breeding involves brief encounters, with males forming coalitions to increase reproductive success. A female cheetah typically gives birth to a litter ranging from 1 to 6 cubs, but survival to adulthood is low, often due to predation by lions, hyenas, and wild dogs. Cubs are born blind, helpless, and hidden in dense vegetation or rocky outcrops that protect them from predators. Mothers raise them alone and tend to move their cubs frequently to avoid detection, keeping them concealed during the vulnerable first weeks. Eventually, male cubs leave the mother first, sometimes forming coalitions, while females may remain closer to their birth territory. Independence is reached around 18 months, when cubs are capable hunters but still face threats from other predators and competition for territory. After a successful hunt, cheetahs eat quickly to minimize the risk of having their prey stolen by competitors. They primarily feed on medium-sized antelopes, including Thompson's gazelles and Grant's gazelles, which comprise the bulk of their diet. They also hunt impalas and will occasionally take down young or smaller individuals of larger species such as warthogs, kudu, and hartebeest. Small mammals like hares can supplement their food when ungulates are less available. They also prefer fresh kills and rarely scavenge from the carcasses of other predators' hunts. This is the opposite of the hyenas, which tend to be waiting not too far away from the cheetahs for a chance to feed on the leftover carcass or even fully steal their kills. These spotted hyenas emerge as equally formidable carnivores, but with a very different approach. Both share the same landscape and prey on similar species such as wildebeest, zebras and gazelles, yet their tactics and social structures mark contrasting survival strategies. Their muscular build, sloping back, and large round ears aid endurance during long hunts and territorial patrols. Known both as hunters and scavengers, spotted hyenas hunt 50 to 95% of their food, depending on the environment. They capitalize on stamina and teamwork, often chasing prey to exhaustion. Their bone-crushing capability gives them access to nutrients other predators leave behind. Notably, the hyenas also possess large, powerfully built carnivores with strong jaws capable of crushing bones, a trait that enables them to consume entire carcasses. They are among the few predators capable of accessing and digesting bone marrow, giving them access to nutrients others leave behind. Their digestive system is adapted to process large amounts of protein and calcium, supporting bone consumption. After a kill, they often feed rapidly due to the threat of scavengers like vultures stealing their meal. Vultures possess powerful beaks, able to tear through tough hides and consume carrion quickly. They have bald heads and necks, a feature that prevents feathers from becoming contaminated with blood and bacteria during feeding. Their excellent eyesight and ability to soar for hours at high altitudes allow them to spot carcasses from great distances. In fact, they feed exclusively on dead animals, providing crucial clean-up services by consuming remains that would otherwise cause disease. As the vultures follow a feeding hierarchy based, the lappet-faced vultures dominate carcass feeding sites through their strength and size. It is the longest and largest winged vulture in its range, surpassed only by the closely related cinereous vulture. This bird features a massive wingspan, reaching up to 9 feet, and a robust body built for powerful soaring. They are competitive and sometimes aggressive, ensuring early access to food. In fact, lappet-faced vultures have the ability to open tough carcasses, which gives them priority access to meat, allowing them to often feed before other scavengers. Following the dominance of lappet-faced vultures at carcasses, the white-backed vulture takes its place as the most common large vulture species in the Masai Mara. While sharing the same scavenger grounds and food sources, the white-backed vulture combines social behaviour with strategic feeding, playing an essential role in the ecosystem's nutrient recycling. These vultures nest in tall trees, often acacias near water. They rely heavily on the presence of conspecifics and other scavengers, including hyenas, to locate food sources. Following the widespread white-backed vultures, the smaller hooded vultures specialise in accessing smaller scraps and areas within carcasses less frequented by larger competitors. Unlike larger vultures that dominate carcasses, hooded vultures often forage alone or in small groups. At carcasses, they avoid aggression through stealth and timing, feeding quickly in less contested zones. Their smaller range favours habitats with a mix of woodland and open areas, often near human settlements or livestock areas where food is more predictably found. Unfortunately, their smaller size and reliance on anthropogenic food sources still increase vulnerability, contributing to their decline across many regions. Following the scavenger vultures of Masai Mara, the marabou stork stands out as a larger, uniquely adapted scavenger that shares feeding grounds and ecological roles with vultures and other carnivores. While they overlap at carcasses, marabou storks display even more opportunistic feeding behaviours and are capable of scaring off smaller scavengers. They consume nearly any animal matter they can swallow, including eggs, small animals, fish and insects, during breeding when nestlings require protein-rich live food. Interestingly, they have been observed to sometimes wash food in water before consuming it. Human trash sites have become newly important feeding grounds, with birds adapting to processed and unconventional food sources. Also occupying similar terrain as the stork is the smaller, lively red-billed hornbill, foraging actively for insects, seeds, and small creatures. As social animals, they communicate through a series of clucks, grunts, and calls, playing an important role in maintaining pair bonds and territorial defence. Their behaviour includes a unique nesting practice where females seal themselves inside tree cavities during incubation, relying on males to feed them through narrow openings. This bird was also represented by the character named Zizou in the famous Disney animated movie, The Lion King. Appearing alongside the bird in the same movie is Pumbaa, who represents the warthog, also known as the most common wild pig in Kenya. They have unmistakably large heads with prominent curved tusks used for digging and defense. Adapted for a primarily grazing diet, warthogs have tough snouts and sharp lower tusks to dig up roots, tubers, and rhizomes, crucial food sources during dry seasons. They exhibit a unique kneeling feeding posture, using their front knees to graze short grass efficiently. These diurnal mammals live in small family groups called sounders, typically consisting of females and their young. Males are mostly solitary, but join groups during breeding seasons. They are also known for their tail-up running when alarmed, a visual signal to others. Interestingly, the warthog would often form unusual bonds of mutual benefit with the black rhinoceros, which is the slightly smaller but more aggressive species compared to the white rhinoceros. While usually reclusive, these rhinos show curiosity toward other species and benefit from the vigilance of warthogs and other smaller animals sharing their habitat. The rhino's defining feature is two horns on their snout, which they use for defense and digging up roots and shrubs. Their prehensile upper lips are adapted for grasping branches and foliage, suited to browsing rather than grazing like white rhinos. Major threats come from poaching for their horns and habitat loss, though anti-poaching efforts have increased focus on their conservation. Predation on adults is rare due to their size and aggressive nature, but calves are vulnerable to lions and hyenas. The leopard is another elusive animal that is often found prowling the wooded thickets and rocky outcrops of the reserve. Often compared to the cheetah, their muscular builds also allow quick bursts of speed. They maintain large, overlapping home ranges and generally do not migrate. Their movement patterns are influenced by prey availability and competition, staying within woodlands, riverine forests, and rocky areas offering cover. As opportunistic hunters, they possess a diet ranging from small birds and rodents to large antelopes like impalas and warthogs. These large cats mostly face threats from habitat loss, human-wildlife conflict, and competition with larger predators. They are sometimes exterminated due to livestock predation fears or poached for their skins. Mostly solitary, leopards mark territory with scent and scratching posts on favoured trees. They are skilled climbers, often dragging kills high into trees to avoid scavengers like hyenas and lions. In fact, their remarkable climbing ability is a trait that sets them apart from many other big cats and plays a crucial role in their survival. This is attributed to their lightweight bodies relative to lions and powerful shoulders and forelimbs that give them the strength to haul their prey up steep tree trunks. They have a low centre of gravity and high power-to-weight ratio, enabling stability and strength during climbs. Their retractable claws provide a strong grip on bark, and their flexible spine allows for twisting and balancing on narrow branches. Additionally, young leopards climb trees for play and skill development, though adults conserve energy by climbing primarily when necessary. Another fellow member in the big cat family is the serval, though it prefers the tall grasses and wetlands with a contrasting hunting style and smaller stature to the leopard. In comparison, the serval possesses long legs relative to their body size, aiding in leaping and capturing swift prey in tall grasses. Their large ears enhance acute hearing, allowing them to detect animals moving underground or hidden in dense vegetation. They primarily hunt small mammals, birds, amphibians, and insects, but are also among the few cats capable of catching fish occasionally. A common prey to the serval is the vlay rat, a rodent that has a robust body covered in dense fur that helps regulate temperature and protect against rough vegetation and predators. Feeding mainly on grasses, seeds and roots, its diet helps control plant growth and recycle nutrients in wetland ecosystems. Its strong claws and sharp teeth aid in digging and gnawing through tough plant material and roots. The vlay rat also serves as prey to smaller carnivores such as mongooses, which are small, agile animals with slender bodies. Their hunting is characterized by rapid, precise attacks and the use of their keen senses to locate hidden prey. Known for their social structure, many mongoose species live in groups, cooperating in foraging and sentinel duties to detect danger. Their highly curious and energetic nature makes them effective hunters and survivors. The mongoose tends to share watering holes with the ring-necked dove, a common bird species that also serves as the former's prey. Displaying a soft greyish-brown plumage, a distinct black ring around its neck, and bright red eyes, its lightweight body and strong wings support rapid, direct flight. They have efficient metabolism and can survive in both wet and dry conditions by extracting moisture from the food they eat. These doves are social birds, often seen in pairs or small flocks. Their gentle cooing calls serve to maintain pair bonds and mark territories. They engage in dust bathing to maintain feather condition and use elaborate courtship displays like bowing and puffing feathers to attract mates. Seen thriving in the same trees and open areas as the dove is the Cape glossy starling, distinguished by its iridescent feathers that shimmer in shades of blue, green, and purple. As social birds, their vocal repertoire is diverse, featuring whistles, clicks, and melodic calls used in communication and establishing social hierarchies within flocks. They also engage in cooperative breeding behaviours in some populations, assisting in raising each other's young. The starlings face threats from raptors and snakes, though their bold social nature helps them detect and deter predators early. Like most other birds, they are omnivorous, feeding on fruits, seeds, nectar, and insects. Their agile foraging includes gleaning insects from foliage and catching invertebrates in flight, supporting their nutritional needs across seasons. A fellow omnivore, though of a much bigger size, is the Kori bustard, which is known as the largest flying bird native to Africa. Both species coexist in the savanna, yet the Kori bustard's ground-dwelling, solitary lifestyle differs sharply from the social starling's arboreal and insectivorous habits. Their heavy bodies and strong legs suit a life on the ground, where they rely more on walking than flying. Despite their size, they are capable of flight, though usually only for short distances. Males compete through displays to secure females, while the latter lay 1 to 3 eggs in simple ground nests, with incubation performed solely by the female. Chicks are precocial, quickly leaving the nest and following the mother for protection and guidance. On the topic of large birds, the Maasai ostrich dominates the savanna, but does so through speed and endurance, mastering life in the open with remarkable bursts of running rather than flight. In fact, they are flightless omnivores, though their diet primarily consists of plants, and only occasionally includes insects and small invertebrates. Their digestive system allows them to process tough plant material and obtain water from their diet. Breeding involves a complex system of communal nesting, where a dominant female lays eggs in a shared nest, maintained by the dominant male. Males and females incubate eggs, which are large and white, over a period of about 42 days. Chicks hatch ready to run, but rely on parental protection for survival in their early days. However, before breeding occurs, male ostriches must undergo a visible transformation, with their necks and legs turning a vibrant pink or red, signalling fitness and attracting females. They establish territories ranging from 2 to 3 square kilometres and perform elaborate courtship displays that include inflating their necks, spreading and flapping wings, and engaging in rhythmic dances on the ground. These dances, known as cantling, showcase their strength, coordination, and stamina to impress females. Nearby in certain overlapping territories, the olive baboon is among the largest baboon species, identifiable by its olive green to grey coat and distinct black face. Also known as the Anubis baboon, it has strong limbs and dexterous hands that allow it to climb trees, forage for a wide variety of foods, and interact socially. They live in large troops that can include 15 to over 100 individuals, which have complex hierarchies, with dominant males and females influencing access to food and mates. Agile and sometimes aggressive, they use group living as defense against predators and to foster social grooming and cooperation. Mating involves competition among males, with dominant males having greater reproductive success. Females give birth to a single offspring after about 6 months of gestation. Then the mothers and other troop members show care for the infants, who remain dependent for the first year. In the same habitats, the southern masked weaver is best known for their intricate nest building skills and communal living, with the former being an essential trait for attracting mates. Males are the primary nest weavers, using just their beaks and feet to knot a long, thin blade of grass or reed to the branch. This is initiating what's known as the spiral phase, which is when a few strands are wrapped in a corkscrew manner to anchor the nest. From this point, the male weaves and knots additional strands, building up a sturdy hoop, or ring, which serves as the foundation. The construction continues through chamber forming, as the male threads materials to create the distinct kidney-shaped dome with a downward-facing entrance. Nests typically hang securely from thin branches, making access difficult for predators. Also living in the trees of the reserve are the vervet monkeys, who sometimes even raid weaver colonies for food. These medium-sized primates live in tightly organised troops of 10 to 50 individuals, maintaining dominance hierarchies among both males and females. They defend well-defined territories, rarely moving far from familiar sleeping and foraging grounds unless driven by drought or disturbance. Troops use complex alarm calls that vary for predators like leopards, snakes and eagles, helping coordinate group escapes and alert local wildlife. Other than natural predators, they also face threats from humans due to crop raiding and persecution. Vervets frequently groom each other to strengthen social bonds and reduce stress. In fact, these grooming habits are central to their social dynamics and group cohesion, going beyond hygiene. It builds alliances, reduces tension, and establishes trust in both female-led cliques and mixed groups. Adult vervet monkeys spend a significant part of their day on allogrooming, especially females who form the social core of groups. Grooming occurs more frequently between kin, bonded partners, and high-ranking individuals, but vervets also groom non-relatives to gain tolerance or support in disputes. Linked in a predator and prey dynamic with the monkeys is the martial eagle, a major constant threat to the juveniles, which flies above the open landscapes. It is Africa's largest eagle, boasting a wingspan over 2 meters and powerful talons capable of subduing prey ranging from birds and reptiles to mammals as large as hares, hyrax, and even lion cubs. Kill rates for males and females differ, with females delivering bulkier prey. It is diurnal and highly territorial, often seen perched in tall trees or drifting above open savanna. Pairs build massive stick nests, high in trees or on cliff ledges, reused for years. Juvenile eagles fledge after about 3 months, requiring parental care for several more months. While martial eagles patrol the skies, the secretary bird, on the other hand, stands out on the grounds for its tall stature, large size, and specialised hunting skills. Unlike many birds of prey, secretary birds are mostly terrestrial, spending their days striding through the grasslands at a pace of over 100 steps per minute. They hunt by walking and scanning for movement, then subdue prey with their lethal, precise kicks and stomps. These birds usually defend territories as pairs, roost in trees at night, and become especially social around abundant food sources or water holes. Despite covering vast ground daily, their requirement for open space leaves them sensitive to grassland fragmentation. One of the secretary bird's most notable prey is the leopard tortoise, endemic to Africa. Famous as one of Africa's largest tortoise species, it is named for its distinctively patterned, high-domed shell featuring black and yellow spots resembling a leopard's coat. They are mostly solitary and slow-moving creatures that spend much of their time grazing or resting in shady vegetation. They regulate their body temperature by basking in the sun and retreating to shade or burrows to avoid overheating. Though slow, they can cover considerable distances while foraging and are able to digest tough plant fibres efficiently, supporting survival in dry habitats. During the rainy season, males compete for females by ramming and biting, and then the latter lay clutches of 5 to 20 eggs in shallow nests dug into the soil. The tortoise shares its preferred areas with another one of its most formidable predators and fellow reptile, the puff adder. Known for its venomous strike that is designed to immobilize prey quickly, the puff adder would often lie motionless for hours or days waiting for prey to pass by. As primarily ambush predators, they rely on their excellent camouflage and stealth instead of speed. When threatened, they hiss loudly and puff out their bodies to appear larger as a warning before striking. Interestingly, the honey badger that can also be found in overlapping territories is known to often fight the puff adder and many other deadly snakes, despite their potent venom. This is mainly due to its adaptations, such as its tough, thick skin that protects it from bites, stings and scratches, as well as its stocky body and powerful legs equipped with sharp claws, make it an expert digger and a persistent hunter. Their fearlessness is legendary, capable of chasing away even larger predators like lions and hyenas if cornered. Mostly solitary, honey badgers range over large territories using scent marking to delineate boundaries. They dig burrows or take over those of other species for shelter and to raise young. Using the honey badger's hunting habits opportunistically, the black-backed jackal is a major food competitor who would sometimes benefit from it instead. The jackal has been observed to follow the badger in hopes of stealing any of the latter's prey that managed to escape its digging. With a sleek body, keen senses and a bushy tail, this animal's key traits help support a diet flexible enough to thrive amid fluctuating resources. They typically live in monogamous pairs or small family groups that cooperate in hunting, territory defence, and pup rearing. Seen near the waterholes the jackals visit is the African fish eagle, though it can also be generally found wherever there are large bodies of open water with an abundant food supply. It boasts a loud, iconic call, which it uses as vocalizations to communicate with mates and defend expansive territories of up to 25 square kilometres. Specialised in fishing, this eagle also has powerful talons with rough soles that provide a firm grip on slippery fish, and wings that enable strong, soaring flight, essential for hunting in expansive aquatic environments. Their fishing efficiency helps regulate fish populations, contributing to aquatic ecosystem health. While top predators in their niche, they face threats from habitat disturbance, pollution, and competition from other predatory birds like ospreys. Human activities affecting water quality and fish populations impact their survival. The battler is another type of eagle that preys on fish, and often shares the same hunting grounds as the African fish eagle. It spends much time soaring low over savannas, scanning for prey or carrion, and is one of the first to arrive at fresh carcasses. This large bird uses aerial agility to steal food from other raptors, which is an example of their aggressive and opportunistic nature. Mostly resident, bateleurs show local nomadic movements, especially immature individuals, sometimes travelling long distances in search of food or territory. They avoid heavy rains by shifting range locally and may congregate in food-rich areas temporarily. The eagles are also particularly sensitive to human disturbance, often abandoning nests if threatened. Natural predators include larger birds of prey challenging them at nests or in food fights. As the second largest antelope in the world, the common eland is only slightly smaller, on average, than the giant eland, and roams the plains where the bateleur often soars above. Its size helps deter many predators, while its strong legs allow it to move steadily across savannas and woodlands, even in rugged terrain. Thick skin and a dewlap help with thermoregulation in the hot climate. Additionally, due to their large size, they consume significant amounts of forage daily, influencing vegetation patterns as mixed feeders that both graze and browse shrubs. Given their wide-ranging habitat, elands do not undertake long migrations, but make local movements according to the seasonal availability of water and forage. They prefer areas offering a mix of open grasslands and dense cover for refuge and feeding. In the same family of antelopes, the impala contrasts the eland sharply in size and horn design, but shares many adaptive traits. Compared to the eland, the impalas are medium-sized antelopes with slender, graceful bodies built for speed and agility. Additionally, while the eland boasts thicker, shorter, more robust horns, impala horns are more delicate, slender, and specialised for display and combat among males, and female impalas remain hornless. They exhibit remarkable agility, capable of leaping 10 feet high and 33 feet across, while elands move more steadily and rely on size and strength for protection. However, like elands, impalas have complex social structures that protect and nurture offspring. breeding involves a rut dominated by territorial males guarding groups of females. After about 6 to 7 months of gestation, females often give birth to a single calf, which remains hidden for safety during early life phases. These antelopes live harmoniously with other herbivore herds of the savanna, such as the African elephant. As the elephants are the largest land mammals on Earth, their foraging creates ecological changes by knocking down trees and opening habitat for other species, including impalas, underscoring their critical role as ecosystem engineers. They possess thick skin to withstand heat and insect bites, and large ears that help regulate body temperature through blood flow modulation. These elephants are highly mobile, travelling long distances seasonally to access water and grazing grounds. Communication includes an extensive range of vocalizations and low-frequency rumbles that can travel kilometres, assisting with coordination and social bonding. Calves are closely protected and nurtured within the herd, learning foraging and social skills through observation and interaction with adults. The elephants also demonstrate bathing behaviour as an essential activity for thermoregulation, skin protection, and social bonding. When temperatures rise above 33 degrees Celsius, elephants increase wetting behaviours such as swimming, spraying water over themselves, and rolling in mud. These actions enhance evaporative cooling from their skin and create a protective mud layer that shields them from parasites and solar radiation. Bathing tends to peak around midday when heat load is highest, though elephants also seek shade as another cooling strategy. Following a water bath, the elephants often roll in dust or spray dirt to form a crusty layer over their skin that sets the protective mud layer and acts as a physical barrier against insects. It often occurs in groups where family members and related individuals engage in synchronized bathing and playful water interactions, reinforcing social bonds and communication within the herd. Other than their large sizes, the elephants are also famous for their tusks, which are elongated incisor teeth made primarily of dentine, commonly referred to as ivory. They grow continuously throughout an elephant's life, allowing these remarkable animals not only to defend themselves, but also to perform essential tasks that facilitate their survival in the wild. They help elephants dig for water, minerals and roots, strip bark from trees for food, move heavy objects, and defend themselves or their young from predators and rivals. Despite their importance for elephant survival, tusks unfortunately make elephants vulnerable to poaching. The high value of ivory on the black market has led to widespread illegal hunting, putting immense pressure on elephant populations across Africa. These poachers, ranging from rural hunters to organised trafficking networks, are often motivated by desperation to escape poverty, as they operate to generate vast profits for international criminal syndicates. To counteract this, the local people of Maasai often serve as rangers tasked with protecting elephants and other species. Their intimate knowledge of the land, deep understanding of animal behaviour, and cultural connection to the environment uniquely position them to excel in anti-poaching patrols and wildlife monitoring. The Maasai derive their name from the Ma language they speak, a language that links them to a lineage tracing back to the Nile Valley. Rituals and ceremonies define Maasai life, which range from rites of passage, like initiation, into warriorhood, to ceremonies honouring cattle. Their traditions combine physical endurance, social cohesion, and spirituality, which is evident in the jumping dance, where young warriors test their strength by leaping into the air. Meanwhile, secretive spiritual leaders, or Libons, guide the community with rituals, healing, and prophecies. The people usually wear their traditional clothing and jewellery, which serve as foundational expressions of identity, social structure, and tradition. The most recognisable garment they wear is the shuka, a rectangular piece of woven fabric, often dyed bright red, but also available in hues of blue, purple, and various plaid or striped patterns. Beadwork plays a pivotal role alongside clothing, as both Maasai men and women adorn themselves with intricate patterns of colourful beads on necklaces, bracelets, belts and headbands. The colours and designs convey messages about age sets, social status, marital status, and clan affiliation, operating as a coded language within the community. Women are especially known for their elaborate beaded collars and earrings, with stretched earlobes commonly decorated with metal hoops or components enhancing their graceful appearance. They live in semi-nomadic communities across the savanna, often in arranged settlements called manyatas. These homesteads, built primarily from mud, sticks and cow dung, provide shelter and serve as cultural hubs. Women construct these dwellings, balancing practicality with swift mobility to accommodate seasonal migrations dictated by grazing and water availability. As semi-nomadic pastoralists, their lives revolve around cattle herding, a practice that defines their culture, economy, and social status. Beyond sustenance, they are measures of wealth, symbols of social standing, and central to rituals throughout life. The number of cows a family owns often parallels the size of their children, reflecting the intertwined value of prosperity and lineage. This is the Masai Mara National Reserve, a land of hidden wonders and remarkable architectural marvels. Now, if you don't want to miss the most unreal wonders of Tennessee, check out this video.